Okay, guys, I want to tell you why Star Wars is ruined forever. Star Wars has always been about good versus evil, Jedi versus Sith. Although, one thing that they always showed about Star Wars 1, 2, and 3 is that basically Star Wars is like a democracy. The Jedi are the Democrats and the Sith are the Republicans. Star Wars has always been about democracy and always having that sense of light that the Jedi always have. And then the dark side, which is basically the Sith. And I want to tell you why Star Wars is ruined forever. Simply put, it's because of Trump politics. I mean, heck, I remember back in the 2020 through 2022, there was this woman that was taking over Star Wars. And basically, she had these Trump politics that she had personal views on. And she was basically going to use Trump politics as the new trilogy of Star Wars movies. And this was a serious problem back in the day. I mean, I own Star Wars 1 through 9, and I have the fondest memories of Star Wars, especially Star Wars 1, 2, and 3. Star Wars 3 is easily my number one favorite Star Wars game because of droids and the epicness when it comes to the battles. I mean, I have always liked the droid types when it comes to Star Wars 3. The reason why I love Star Wars 3 so much is because it's got all my favorite droids. It's got so much variety when it comes to droids. And that's why I love Star Wars is droids. And ever since this lady took over Star Wars and tried to make another trilogy of Star Wars movies, it just hasn't felt the same. Star Wars shows was at a quality bar in 2020 when COVID hit. But ever since this woman took over, the quality bar has gone really low. I had fond memories of Star Wars. But ever since the downfall of Star Wars, honestly, I just haven't been getting into the series lately. Heck, when I used to watch Star Wars, it was back in the 2000s and the 2010s. Ever since 2019, when the last Star Wars movie aired, I haven't once bought Star Wars merchandise or watched Star Wars content in general. And I have no regret making that decision. The Star Wars quality has gone really low. And since most Star Wars shows nowadays are all in streaming, and since streaming is now dying right now, some of the Star Wars people that paid and watched all that money that Star Wars fans has paid for just to watch Star Wars on streaming has completely wasted their money. I mean, since Star Wars is on streaming, some of the Star Wars are complete canceled even before they even ended. So it was like there was people that spent years spending streaming services to watch these Star Wars shows. And since Star Wars is on streaming now, hate to say it, but people lost all that money and they can't finish the Star Wars shows that they love so much. Star Wars has been a downfall ever since Disney. And what really made it prevalent was in the 2020s and the 2022s. There was a Republican that attacked Disney and basically made it where he was doing Trump politics on Disney. And not only did Disney politics actually ruin Disney, it also ruined Star Wars too. And thing is, I don't think Star Wars is ever going to recover from this. I mean, yes, the Star Wars movies were rough, but compare that to the Star Wars movies that was going to be planned by forcing Trump politics in the next Star Wars movies, someone personal views that we don't agree with. I was like, I'm done with Star Wars. At that point, I was pretty much completely done with Star Wars. Heck, like I said, I haven't even bought merchandise or movies since 2019. And honestly, with seeing the state of Star Wars, I have no regrets quitting the franchise. I don't think I'll ever go back to the Star Wars franchise. I will always enjoy the movies Star Wars 1 through 9. I'll still always watch those. When it comes to anything Star Wars nowadays, honestly, I'm not supporting it. And honestly, neither should you. The state of Star Wars has been at its absolute worst. Star Wars was the biggest franchise since the 1950s and 1970s. I don't remember the exact years, but back in the 1950s or 70s or something, it was the most popular when it came to Star Wars 4, 5, and 6. And I hate to say it, but those days are definitely over. I mean, as you can see, look at this. Big Star Wars fan. And seeing this big juggernaut fall for grace, from grace, it's just not the same anymore. And I don't think it will ever recover.